Enter text March 6, 2026. The world woke up to a new reality. The Strait of Hormuz, the jugular vein of the global economy, went dark. In a single afternoon, 20% of the world's daily oil supply simply vanished. As we stand here today, the global economy isn't just flirting with a crisis, it's staring into a $120 per barrel abyss. This isn't a drill, and it isn't just another Middle Eastern skirmish. This is the calculated result of Maximum Pressure 2.0. From secondary sanctions that have crippled Beijing's energy desk to the sudden spike in U.S. stagflation, the chessboard has been flipped. Today, we go beyond the headlines. We're breaking down how this geopolitical chess match is draining your bank account, which sectors are about to collapse, and the black swan event that could push oil to $200. This is the analysis the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. To understand the chaos of 2026, we have to look at the Trump 2.0 policy shift of 2025. This wasn't the sanctions regime of a decade ago. This was surgical. It introduced a new standard, KYCC. The Know Your Customer's Customer mandate forced banks in the UAE, India, and China to stop hiding Iranian transactions. If you touched an Iranian rial, you lost access to the US dollar. Period. By February 2026, the administration added the Trump surcharge, a 10% import tax on any nation still moving Iranian crude. This turned energy policy into a trade war weapon. The goal? A total collapse of the Iranian regime's revenue. The result? A cornered tiger. Tehran's response was predictable but devastating. They didn't just target tankers, they targeted the infrastructure. When the letter to Khamenei offering a new nuclear deal was rejected in late 2025, the fuse was lit. Now, the world is paying the war premium. Let's talk numbers. Wall Street analysts at JP Morgan were forecasting $60 oil for 2026 based on cooling global demand. They were wrong. They failed to account for the total maritime blockade of the Gulf. It's not just oil, it's the Qatar factor. The strikes on the Ras Laffan LNG complex in early 2026 turned a regional oil spike into a global energy catastrophe. Asian spot prices for natural gas surged 140% in 3 weeks. In math terms, a 20 million barrel per day disruption is impossible to fill, even if the US drains the strategic petroleum reserve to zero. It only covers the gap for a few months. We are witnessing the greatest energy security challenge in human history. The refinery bottleneck isn't just a buzzword, it's a chemical crisis. Most people think oil is just oil. It isn't. The US produces light sweet crude, thin, easy to refine into gasoline. But the world's heavy machinery, the cargo ships, and the 18-wheelers run on the heavy sour grades that flow from the Persian Gulf. When you cut that off, you don't just lose volume, you lose the ability to produce diesel and jet fuel. Even with US production at record highs, our refineries are configured for the heavy stuff. Retooling a refinery isn't a weekend project, it's a 5-year, multi-billion-dollar overhaul. This mismatch is the invisible wall of the 2026 crisis. The death of the soft landing. For 2 years, the Fed promised a soft landing. That dream died at the Strait of Hormuz. In the US, the Consumer Price Index, CPI, is being dragged upward by price parity. Even if we pump the oil here, it is sold at global market rates. If Brent hits $150, the rancher in Texas pays $150 equivalent at the pump. The wage price spiral. As logistics costs explode, companies are forced to hike prices. Workers, seeing their paychecks evaporated by 9% inflation, demand higher wages. The Fed's nightmare. Usually, when growth slows, the Fed cuts rates to stimulate the economy. But they can't cut rates if inflation is rampant. They are trapped in the stagflation box. Raising rates to kill inflation will crush the housing market. Lowering them to save the economy will send oil to $200. The European deindustrialization. Germany, the engine of Europe, is seizing up. Their energy-intensive manufacturing, chemicals, steel, and glass simply cannot function with energy costs up 400%. We are witnessing a historic capital flight. Money isn't just leaving European stocks, it's leaving the European continent, seeking the relative safety of North American energy independence. The Investor Playbook. Pillar 1. The Midstream Fortress. The smart money isn't gambling on speculative tech anymore. They are moving into midstream infrastructure. These are the pipelines and storage facilities, the toll booths of the energy world. In a shortage, the person who owns the pipe is king. While producers face war risk, taxes, midstream companies with long-term contracts are seeing record EBITDA. They are the only ones with a secure, insulated supply chain that doesn't rely on a tanker making it through a combat zone. Pillar 2. The Sovereign Energy Pivot. The 2026 Iran crisis has done the impossible. It turned green energy into national security energy. Nuclear renaissance. We are seeing a massive inflow of capital into SMRs, small modular reactors. Solar autonomy. For a small business in Arizona or a factory in Poland, a solar array isn't about saving the planet anymore. It's about decoupling from the global grid. If the grid is tied to Middle Eastern geopolitics, the only way to win is to stop playing the game. Pillar 3. The logistics arbitrage. Ironically, the logistics giants are the hidden winners. By avoiding the Suez Canal and taking the long route around Africa, they've reduced global shipping capacity by 20%. This artificial scarcity allows them to charge war risk premiums that are 5x their actual cost increase. It's a brutal, cynical profit cycle. The longer the crisis lasts, the higher the congestion fees climb. The New World Order. We are no longer in a correction. We are in a structural shift. History shows that when oil-producing nations face regime change pressure, prices don't just spike. They reset to a new, higher floor. If the blockade holds through the heat of the summer, $120 oil will be the good old days. We are entering a long, cold cycle. The era of cheap, globalized goods is being replaced by the era of expensive, localized resilience. The data is clear, but the outcome depends on your positioning. Are you holding gold as a hedge against a failing dollar? Are you doubling down on US energy? Or are you moving to cash, waiting for the ultimate market capitulation? What is your move? Drop your strategy in the comments. We are tracking the sentiment of this community closely because in 2026, the crowd often sees the cliff before the experts do. Hit the bell, subscribe to Global Shock, and stay ahead of the dominoes. Information isn't just power, it's survival.